Unfortunately, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and
Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And nobody knows why liars lie. Winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. It's God's side and the other side. Country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good, overcame it and look like Mr. Potato Head. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. Ricky Smiley can't act, cause Ricky Smiley can't act. Why is he in a dress again? He didn't be wanting to Barbie, and you gotta tell him no. Said ain't got no special, you remember? Eve ain't got no special, you remember? Ricky ain't got no special, you remember? Sir, I have 12 comedy specials. P. Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. I won't stop burning you down until there ain't nothing left. Rubble on top of rubble, and I'll still be bombing. Look like a wall, Richard. Look like a wall. You didn't say no. Look like a wall, Richard. Look like a wall. You didn't say no.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. All right, so let's get it started. Hello, Lisa. Thank you for your super chat donation. Lisa says, I love that song with Malcolm on the backdrop. Queen, you did justice for us. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. All right, so let's get into it. You all know it's all nefarious. Please pay attention. It is all nefarious, so let's see who is up in here. Likes up. Everyone, please like and share. Diddy is in more trouble, but for those of you who have been following the Queen of Receipts, I told you all this was coming May the 2nd. Who remembers when I told you guys that Diddy had another lawsuit coming? Why is my hair all over my head? Okay, sorry. But who remembers when I told you guys that another lawsuit was coming? I'm going to go back to that video in just a minute to give you all a quick recap so you can hear again what the young woman actually alleged and the reason all of this transpired in the first place. With that all being said, everyone please get the likes up. Please get the likes up. Please like and share. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click the word all so that you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. You can follow me on Instagram at Dr_A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And also, don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving those notifications. All right, so let's get black into it, honey, because Diddy is going down for the count. Okay, I bet y'all forgot I told you guys about it. So let's see who's all up in here. All right, hello, April, Locked Vegan, above all that drama. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. Mel Will is here, Miss AP, Kathy B. All right, Terrion is here. Terrion says, I love Kat, but he don't expose those top non-melanated devils. Now, why is that? Just saying. You know, at the end of the day, here's the thing. They are a problem, but who's more of a problem, beloved? The people that he calls out. Those people are the ones that are detriment to our community specifically. If it were not for people like Steve Harvey and others who are the gatekeepers, the bootlicks, and all of that, well then, quite frankly, there'd be no way for the other people to continuously do certain things to us. Who do they always get to work against us besides our own people? So our people need to be called out first. Even during the Haitian Revolution, they called out the ones, or they took out the ones who were amongst their own before they actually did anything to the colonizers. You see, they called them back then collaborators. So that's what people like Steve Harvey and others are. They're collaborators. They work at the behest of white supremacy. But that all being said, those are the ones that need to be called out first. I agree with Kat. All right, so that all being said, shout out to Vince I Am from the UK, Claudette, Tracy, all right, Anita Harrell, Kathy B. All right, so let's get into it. April, Michelle. Okay, Alrighty. Everyone, please get those likes up. I see you, Claudette Hot Cocoa in the house. Beverly is here. All hell no. 504 Nola. All right, Queen Sam or Aunt Egypt. Terry Hartfield. All right, y'all know I love me some royals. So let's get into it. Now, with that all being said, hey, Michelle, Miss Evie in the house. So let's go back for a moment of reflection on the video that I did May the 2nd, where I told you guys that Diddy has another lawsuit coming. All right, please pay attention. Now, let me pull that up. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, and so this is a young lady who at the time was working for Diddy for his white parties. And her boyfriend was a model, and that's how she got affiliated with Diddy in the first place. Hold on, is this it right here? Hold on, beloveds. Oh, here it is. Hold on. No, that's not. Hold on. Okay, here it is. All right. So let me share my screen. By the name of Anthony Gallo. And she says that's how she got to be around Diddy's circle. And so she had some things to say. So I'm going to play the audio, not the video, okay? Because I don't want any trouble with Tasha K. And this audio that I'm playing is on from a TikTok video that someone did about it. And I also saw it on some of the blog sites. So with that all being said, we're going to play the audio. Now, before I play the audio, I'm going to show you who this young lady is. This is her. Okay, that's the overlay of her that I'll be using when I play the audio. And her boyfriend, Anthony Gallo, was a model. Like I said, I'm going to share my screen so you all can see who he is. Because she says that Diddy asked her boyfriend to get down on all fours, and give him okay, so let's go to the video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Hey, T Money, appreciate y'all coming through. I'm Anthony Gallo, and I'm gonna show you my East Coast crib. Come on, man.
Yeah. Put the money in the bag, man.
Okay, I turned off the audio because I don't want any problems or issues. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out, how did I get to Kanye? I don't know how I got to Kanye. Glad I turned off the audio, but hold on for just a second. Let me pull that back up. Okay, here we go.
I'm sick of
Okay, so that was him right there. Like I said, he was a model, and he looks like the type that Diddy would be trying to hit on. Okay. Hold on. Queen, the guy Gene Deal is talking about is named Louis. Arrested years ago. Let me see if I can. All right, so hold on. Now let me go to the part where I play the woman speaking with Tasha K. All right. Let me go to the time step on that. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. You heard it here first. Pay attention.
Adria English in the wine cellar, all the way from California.
All the way. Hey, Tasha.
All right. Hey, how are you? So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. How
All
you
right.
doing?
So you reached out to me via email,
Yes,
said
I
that
did.
you were a part of Diddy's event staff
Yes, I
from 2004 to 2009.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Tell us about that.
It was a beautiful thing. I was from California. I got blessed to be in the city through my ex, Anthony Gallo. He was a model, and so we got the opportunity to move to New York. He booked the Rockwear and the Sean John campaign, and that's how I got in the room with Diddy. Shortly after he booked the Sean John campaign, Diddy ended up asking me if I would join his event staff for the white parties in the Hamptons. It initially started out the Hamptons. It was not Miami in the beginning. And of course I said yes.
Okay, all right, cool.
And initially I was saying yes to please my ex. It wasn't even for Diddy because he booked the Sean John campaign. So he was telling me, be nice to Diddy so I can make sure I keep the campaign going, because Diddy asked to suck his, and he didn't do it. He was an LA nigga. He didn't do it. And so Diddy only hired me because I was additional, whatever. Only hired me on it, but he didn't want to hire him on the Sean John campaign until I agreed to do the white parties.
Oh, okay. Now we're going to definitely say allegedly. I wasn't there.
Allegedly,
okay,
yes.
Cool.
Allegedly.
All right,
yes,
and you're
yes.
saying Diddy allegedly asked your ex-boyfriend.
I was there.
Okay, so you all heard that, right? Said Diddy asked her ex-boyfriend to do the do. Okay? So now I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to stop right there because I think she might say something else that I don't want to, that I didn't edit. So anyway, here's the thing. So she says she was working for Diddy. She was one of the girls who would go around and take pictures during these all-white parties. She said she was specifically hired for the all-white parties, and she would go around, her and some other girls, and they would take pictures. These were Polaroids back then. And then Diddy would collect the photographs. She would go around and do this for like 15 minutes. She danced for 45 minutes, and then 15 minutes go and mingle, and then take the pictures, and then give them to Diddy. He would collect all of the pictures from everyone. They had to bring them directly to Diddy. Now, she said that it was an all-white party, but that she and the girls wore different color bikinis. And so she said she thinks that they had to wear the different color bikinis so that they could be noticed, or so it would be known as to who they were. If you think about it, it's like when Lil Rod said that Diddy sent him to the strip club called Booby Trap, and he had to wear the cap on his head that said bad boy, so that anyone seeing him, they would know that he was sent there by Diddy. So she basically said they had to wear different color bathing suits, bikinis, or whatever. And so she felt that that was so that people would be able to distinguish them from the other guests who were at the party. Okay, that was part of her job. Now, the allegation comes in when she says that Diddy had supposedly called her or something one day, and then was supposed to be hooking her up with Jacob the jeweler. Okay, and so basically she thought it was for it to be like some sugar daddy type stuff. And then so she says that she went into a room, Jacob the jeweler was in there, and he already had on protection. Okay, if you catch my drift. And then she said it was pump, 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 and then that was it. So basically saying that Diddy took her in there and had Jacob the jeweler do the do to her. Okay, so that's the allegation. All right, and so what do you all think? Because Diddy's getting it from all angles at this point. Anybody still trying to, cover for this man or trying to defend him? It's not going to help. I don't really think it's going to help. Okay, so that's basically what she said. And here's the thing. She also said that after that, she had to go get mental health counseling. She said that she was put into a mental facility. This all happened. She said she worked for Diddy as an event planner, as part of the event staff from 2004 to 2009. Okay, so in that period, she was also, like I said, taking pictures of these guests at the parties, dancing, and all of that. And then she says that after this incident with Diddy and Jacob the jeweler, and this is another thing. She said while Jacob was in there doing what he did to her, and clearly this was without her consent, she said that Diddy was outside the door. He stayed outside the door to watch or listen or whatever. And that all sounds familiar because if you remember, the woman who sued Diddy and Aaron Hall, I believe it was, Diddy has so many cases, I can't keep track of all the details specifically unless I'm looking at them. But it was either the person who sued him and Aaron Hall. No. I'm sorry. I think it was Joy Dickerson Neal, the one who sued him and Harv Pierre, and the third person that she didn't know who it was. She said something about Diddy sitting outside the restroom while Harv Pierre was in there doing whatever he did. Okay. And then Cassie also said that Diddy likes to watch. All right. So with that all being said, this all sounds very reminiscent of what other people have already alleged. Okay. This is what people have already alleged. So it sounds plausible to me. Basically saying that he stood outside of the restroom and watched. She said that she was crying after it was over and she had to go and get mental health counseling. That was in 2010. When she came back, she said she had to get mental health counseling and she accused Diddy of this and she talked to a psychiatrist and all of that. So what do y'all think about it? I find it all very interesting because here's the thing. If her allegations are true and she had to get mental health counseling and all of that, and she has proof of that and it's on the record and all that stuff, well, she likely has a case. Another thing is she said that she's already spoken with Tyrone Blackburn, who is Lil Rod's attorney, as well as Liza Gardner's attorney, okay, and says that Tyrone Blackburn didn't want her to do that interview with Tasha K, but she told him that she'd already been contracted to do the interview, so he told her to go ahead, but that's the only one that he wanted her to do. So she's already talking to Tyrone Blackburn, and he seems to be allegedly considering taking her case. Okay, so it's getting bad for Diddy. I just want y'all to pay attention. Belinda said Diddy Glover is disgusting. He needs to be locked up. Yeah. Sierra Leone says the industry is very messy, the men and the women. Okay. All right, so there you all have it. At the end of the day, I find it all nefarious. Okay, it is all nefarious. And the title of that video for you all who missed it was Diddy has new accusations by ex-go-go dancer in Tasha K interview. Okay, so I told y'all the lawsuit was coming. She already had talked to attorneys. Now, she didn't go with Tyrone Blackburn, apparently, because according to the legal docs, she has another attorney. So let's get into this, because these documents are 114 pages long, and I don't intend to go through all of them. I'm going to be skipping over some things, and I'm not going to keep them on the screen. I'm not going to keep the documents on the screen for the simple fact that there are some salacious pictures that should not be seen on camera. Okay, so per YouTube guidelines. That all being said, not going to have the whole thing on the screen. Now, as you can see, it says graphic details. Please pay attention. Trigger warning. This document contains highly graphic information of an sexual nature, including sexual assault. That being said, some of the pictures are inappropriate. And I don't want to be like worried about when the pictures are coming up because I can't remember when they come up. But so we're about to get into it. Diddy was out here allegedly being a whole pimp out here in these streets of Hollywood in the music industry. All right, and I find it all egregious. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, Diddy sat there and told all them lies, allegedly, talking about he didn't do nothing and this, that, and the third. And here's the thing. Before he came out, beloveds, with that whole, statement saying that lies have been levied against him and he's accused of this, that, and the third, his attorneys don't have control over him as far as I'm concerned. Okay, these attorneys can't get him to do what they say 9 times out of 10, it seems, because why would he come out and say the apology? He shouldn't have said anything. If he wanted to issue an apology, it should have been done, as I told you previously, through his attorneys, because now you're admitting that that's actually you on the video. And of course, we could see it was him, but he still didn't have to admit it. Okay, he could have had it up for question. Another thing is, not only that, he spoke accusing the victims of basically trying to get a money grab. And then afterwards, the video comes out and makes him look even more guilty. So he just shouldn't have said anything. If I were him, I would have wanted my attorney to say something along the lines of, listen, we're just ready to have our day in court where the truth will be revealed. I would have left it at that. You see, because that's vague. You're not saying that you didn't do it. You're not saying that you did. All you're saying is that you're waiting for the truth to come out. Okay? But he just made a fool of himself being so arrogant and narcissistic, because this is what Diddy does. So now, once again, here's another lawsuit. Diddy's clearly been accused of alleged pimping and pandering as far as Queen's concerned. Look at it with his little pimp hat on. He's a whole hot mess. He is a whole hot mess. Okay, so let's get into these receipts. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, let's see where I'm going to start at. Okay, so the people named in the lawsuit. Hold on, let me put my spectacles on, beloveds. All right, so the people named in the lawsuit are Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, Diddy, Puff Puff, Puff Daddy, Brother Love, Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings Inc., Sean John Clothing LLC Inc., Combs Global Enterprises, Tamika Thomas. Now, Tamika Thomas, for those of you who don't know, this is a woman who has been accused of being the Ghislaine Maxwell to Diddy, okay, by the plaintiff. All right, so Jacob Arabov, aka Jacob the Jeweler, okay, Vibe Magazine, aka Vibe, and Pinsk Media Corporation, okay, aka doing business as PMC. And then John and Jane Doe's 1 through 10 and organizational Doe's 1 through 10. All right, so with that all being said, let's get into it. Lights up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Okay, so now the beginning, which I'm not going to read all of this, early on in the lawsuit, Doc, she talks basically about Cassie's lawsuit. Okay, she brings up Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, saying that ordinarily when a lawsuit such as Miss Ventura's is filed, that involves events that took place long ago, witnesses are few and far between and evidence hard to muster. Not so for the claims brought against defendant Combs. Within minutes of the filing, Ms. Ventura's claims were confirmed by various witnesses, including a rival musician whose car defendant Combs blew up. Various individuals who observed defendant Combs beat Ms. Ventura in a video released by CNN just a few weeks ago, showing defendant Combs physically abusing, battering, and assaulting Ms. Ventura. Since Ms. Ventura's brave decision to file a lawsuit against defendant Combs has accumulated numerous lawsuits across the country for the same conduct alleged by Ms. Ventura. Days later, more lawsuits were filed against Diddy, defendant Combs, I'll just call him Diddy, one being plaintiff Joy Dickerson Neal, who alleged that defendant Combs gave her illegal substances without consent and assaulted her when she was a college student. The other lawsuit currently being appropriately refiled in New Jersey, accused Mr. Combs and singer Aaron Hall of forcing the plaintiff and another unidentified woman into a non-consensual act. All so nefarious, but let me continue. And everyone, please be sure to like this video. Please like and share the video. Okay, it doesn't cost you a single thing. All right, it doesn't cost you a single thing. Okay, so now let me skip down a little bit. Okay, so the allegations in Plaintiff McKinney, she goes on to talk about Plaintiff McKinney's complaint, echoes similar claims filed by the plaintiff in the instant action. A ninth lawsuit was filed against defendant Combs by plaintiff April Lampros. In the suit, April Lampros alleges accuses the defendant of battery, assault, negligent infliction of emotional distress, and a violation of victims of gender-motivated violence protection of law. Right, and then says prior to any of the cases above filed, defendant Combs was named as a defendant in a civil sexual assault lawsuit in Florida involving R&B singer Tremaine Neverson, aka Trey Songz. Now, did you all remember that? Did you all know about that? Diddy was named as a defendant in Trey Songz' lawsuit. Please pay attention. See, it's a whole lot of shady stuff going on with these people in the industry, honey. At the end of the day, it's a whole lot more Diddy's, like I keep telling you guys. That's why that song that I did, I'm not the only one. Please pay attention because it clearly isn't. Okay, so Defendant Combs was also implicated in a lawsuit filed in California against R&B singer Chris Brown for assault that took place on a yacht anchored at Defendant Combs' Star Island estate in Miami, Florida. Okay? Diddy's just getting, his name's just out here for dirt at the end of the day. So this is now the 10th lawsuit filed against Defendant Combs since November the 16th of 2023. Okay, just as the allegations brought by the other 9 plaintiffs, Plaintiff English's claims are just as egregious. All right, due to these numerous lawsuits filed against Mr. Defendant Combs alleging the same or similar acts, there is now a growing awareness that Defendant Combs was engaging in far more sinister acts than previously known, including physical abuse and trafficking, specifically from 2004 to 2009. Plaintiff was trafficked by Defendant Combs, Thomas, and Araboff, in which Araboff is Jacob the jeweler. And again, Thomas is the woman that she alleges was like his Ghislaine Maxwell, or to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, additionally, because of Defendant Combs' relationship with Defendant Vibe, due to their conspiracy in the trafficking enterprise, please pay attention. Right, isn't that what Rodney Jones called it? A trafficking enterprise. Defendants knew they could publish plaintiff's likeness without her consent and fear of recourse, and chose plaintiff's likeness to use without permission in an effort to continue the defendant's trafficking. This is all so crazy. Please pay attention. And now, again, this was filed in the United States District, Southern District of New York. Okay, whereas the rest of them, most of them anyway, have been filed. Now, Joy Dickerson Neal had to switch jurisdictions and have it refiled in New Jersey, as I reported not long ago. Now, basically it goes on to say, therefore, plaintiff claims pursuant to, okay, I'm going to skip past this. Plaintiff has been affected by defendant's actions and has suffered extreme emotional distress, impacting nearly every aspect of plaintiff's life and personal relationships. Given all of the brave individuals who have come forward against Defendant Combs, plaintiff is doing the same. Plaintiff brings this action seeking injunctive, declaratory, and monetary relief against defendants in violation of Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Law and Gender-Motivated Violence Act. Okay, I'm going to skip down a little bit. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Okay. As CEO and president of the company, Defendant Combs, she's talking about Sean John. Since in 1998, Combs founded Sean John, which has retail sales of over $450 million. As CEO and president of the company, Defendant Combs was representing Sean John when he conspired and trafficked plaintiff. Sean John Clothing LLC is a domestic liability company licensed to business in New York. So they're being sued too. And what's interesting about that is, that I just reported to you that Diddy had a lawsuit with them, which he dismissed. Okay, he dismissed the lawsuit. Here's the thing. Did he dismiss that lawsuit? Please pay attention, because this was coming. Because like I told you all, we've known about this since May. So how long do you think Diddy's known about it? Okay, so with that all been said, I wonder now if possibly that was part of the reason that he dismissed that $60 million lawsuit against Sean John. Okay, so now she talks about Tamika Thomas. Defendant Thomas, upon information and belief, is a citizen of the state of New York. Defendant Thomas, upon information and belief, was an employee of Defendant BBE at all relevant times. Defendant Thomas, in her employment capacity, was responsible for transporting and making payment to individuals like plaintiff, in furtherance of a corrupt organization of trafficking on behalf of defendant Combs and the beneficiaries of the corrupt organization, including defendants Jacob, Vibe, and PMC. Okay, now pay attention. This is all the same thing that Rodney Jones alleged in his lawsuit when he made these accusations about Christina Corum. Okay, saying that she was the one that was making the payments for Diddy in that case. But in this case, and also interesting to note, is that Rodney Jones also, I believe, if memory serves me correct, that basically Christina Corum was like Ghislaine Maxwell to Diddy. Just as this woman is saying that Tamika Thomas was like a Ghislaine Maxwell to Diddy. Please pay attention. This is all nefarious. Now, upon information and belief, defendant Jacob at all relevant times was a resident of the state of New York. Upon information and belief, defendant Jacob at all relevant times was a citizen of the state of New York, despite being from Uzbekistan. Hope I said that right. Now, defendant Jacob was a beneficiary of the corrupt organization ran by defendants Combs, BBE, Thomas, Vibe, and PMC, and is pictured with the plaintiff above when he knowingly had intercourse with plaintiff who was trafficked for that specific purpose. Okay, and there's a picture of her and Jacob, the jeweler. Now, in 2008, says defendant Jacob in 2008 was sentenced to 2.5 years in federal prison. Okay, regarding a multi-state drug ring, and was fined $50,000 and had to forfeit $2 million to the U.S. government. If anybody was wondering why Jacob the jeweler fell off and the rapper stopped rapping about him, well, that's likely why. So I do believe that he's reinvented himself, and now it's called Jacob and Company. Please pay attention. So prior to being in prison, defendant Jacob frequented parties thrown by defendant Combs and BBE, where he knowingly participated in the illegal commodification of women via trafficking. Upon information and belief, defendant Jacob still runs a business, Jacob and Company, licensed to do business in New York, with its headquarters located at 48 East 5th Street, New York 10022. All right, this is all nefarious. Please pay attention. And you know, the interesting thing is that whole thing that happened with Jacob the jeweler was probably kept on the hush, because I don't recall many people talking about that. Basically just saying that he was no longer being in the news and the rap songs were no longer talking about him, or the rappers weren't, discussing him as they often have been doing. So please pay attention. Now, upon information and belief, defendant Vibe runs a magazine licensed to do business in New York with its headquarters located at 475 Fifth Avenue, New York. Defendant Vibe had an ongoing relationship with defendant Combs, and all of defendant's enterprises include BBE, SJC, which is Sean Combs, and or Sean John Company, and CGE. Okay, was corrupt and exploited to plaintiff and to benefit defendant Vibe and other members of the corrupt organization. And defendant Vibe's ongoing beneficial relationship with defendant Combs dates back as far as 1993. And you all may remember that Diddy was actually on the cover of Vibe. There's a picture of that included in here as well. Now, defendant Vibe further injured plaintiff in an effort to further the corrupt organization when it published plaintiff's picture in an issue without plaintiff's notice or consent, written or otherwise. Okay, now PMC. Defendant PMC, upon information and belief, defendant PMC is the owner and the parent company of defendant Vibe. Upon information and belief, okay, I'm just going to skip past some of that. Okay, plaintiff is an individual who is a citizen of the United States and a resident of California. Plaintiff at all times relevant to the action resided and was domiciled in the state of New York. Prior to moving to New York, in or around early 2004, plaintiff participated as an actor in the adult film industry under the name Unique. Plaintiff participated in approximately 8 adult films prior to moving to New York, which were done while plaintiff was a teenager. Okay, so she said that when she was doing those corn videos, adult films, whatever, she was a teenager. Plaintiff was coerced by veteran corn star Jake Steed. All right, and so also interesting. Also interesting. Now, here is a part where they have a picture that definitely can't be shown on the screen. All right, so let me just scroll on by. That's why I don't want to have this on the screen, honey, because you never know when these things are going to pop up. I don't need any trouble with ScrewTube. Okay, so on or about mid-2004, hold on, let me go back a little bit. Okay, while plaintiff's then boyfriend auditioned for modeling gigs and attended go-sees in New York, plaintiff began go-go dancing and performing at Larry Flint's Hustler Club on 51st Street in New York under the stage name of Stasha. Okay, on or about mid-2004, Mr. Gallo attended an audition for the Sean John modeling campaign in New York, where plaintiff accompanied him. During that audition, another model and Mr. Gallo were asked to perform fellatio on defendant Combs in order to book the modeling campaign. You see how Diddy would use his power for such nefarious reasons, trying to get people to do things that they wouldn't want to do. This is all so crazy at the end of the day. Okay, this is what he wants in order for him to let you work on his modeling campaign. Now, Mr. Gallo refused, but was later reapproached by employee defendant Thomas, offering new terms. The terms being that Mr. Gallo could still book the Sean John campaign if he commanded the plaintiff to work defendant Combs's and BBE's upcoming white party. Okay, and we all know about those nefarious white parties that Diddy has been having for decades. Now, the white party was in the Hamptons. Okay, she was supposed to work as a go-go dancer as plaintiff, as well as well-known talent and highly sought-after dancer in Larry Flint's Hustler Club. Now, in an effort to assist Mr. Gallo's desire to become a model, plaintiff agreed to do what she believed to be a legitimate employment with defendant Combs and BBE as entertainment at the white parties in the Hamptons, New York, and Miami, Florida, from 2004 to 2009. Plaintiff did not agree to a lifetime of aftermath of being used as an sexual pawn for the pleasure and financial benefit of others. Now comes the factual allegations. Now, as agreed to between Mr. Gallo and defendant Thomas and defendant Combs, SJC, and BBE, plaintiff began her employment at the ultra-exclusive and lavish Labor Day parties thrown by defendant Combs and BBE called the White Party. And Mr. Gallo began his employment as a Sean John model. Okay, plaintiff's first employment at a white party was the summer of 2004. All right, hold on. Let me scroll past a little bit of this, beloveds. Lights up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so let's see where I want to go to. Okay, so plaintiff's outfit in the above picture, which I'm not going to show, was provided to her as a uniform as she was led to believe she was in an employment capacity, and plaintiff was required to wear the clothing provided as part of her employment. Plaintiff was also provided a separate room from the party away from where the partygoers congregated that was used by plaintiff and other employees as a break room to take respite during the party, as plaintiff was there in an employment capacity. Okay, now plaintiff was encouraged directly by defendant Thomas to provide lap dances and sexually flirtatious acts with the guests at the white party. Plaintiff was also instructed and directed by defendant Combs as to which guests plaintiff should focus attention and interaction with to ensure his guests were having a great time. Okay, plaintiff was strictly instructed by defendant Combs and Thomas on which bottles, now pay attention, on which bottles of alcohol and champagne female employees were to exclusively drink from, and also required plaintiff to take narcotics offered by a white party guest. Okay, so trying to pressure her to doing stuff she didn't want to do. Now, you all know this sounds very reminiscent of the allegations that the woman made against Diddy and Kanye, saying that they were trying to make her offer her these drinks and stuff, and that she felt like something was in it and all of that. Okay, so trying to just pressure people to drink. It also sounds like Christian King Combs, the allegations against him by Grace Armour Cave, because she was saying that he was pressuring her to drink, and she felt like he had brought the spiked liquor with him up onto the yacht. This is all so nefarious. Now, plaintiff was strictly instructed by defendant Combs and Thomas on which bottles of alcohol and champagne. Okay, read that already. Now, despite being forced to drink copious amounts of alcohol and consume illicit narcotics, the encounters plaintiff was forced to endure were so excruciating that plaintiff remembers them as they still haunt her to this day. Plaintiff was forced to consume liquor and illicit narcotics as part of her employment at the white party. Okay, so this definitely doesn't sound like it was worth it. Worth all the hassle. All of this so her boyfriend could get a modeling gig. Please pay attention. And then also, she alleges that they had to take, how do I want to say this? That stuff that has the word Stacy at the end of it, that starts with X. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. Please pay attention. It says that upon information and belief, defendant Combs laced the liquor with the letters X, T, and Z. How about that? Okay, which is why plaintiff was provided strict rules on which bottles to consume from. Now, this is all reminiscent of what Mark Curry, not the comedian, but the former Bad Boy writer, he said the same thing about the liquor bottles being laced, and they were told, you know, which ones to drink from and which ones not to, because they were for the women that he was obviously allegedly trying to get intoxicated or, you know, take advantage of. This is all crazy. So again, all of these lawsuits at this point, there's a whole lot of them having talking points or accusations that corroborate previous allegations from other plaintiffs. This is all so crazy. So yeah, Diddy's definitely going down. There's no way he's getting out of this. Okay, there's no way he's getting out of any of it. Now, with that all being said, plaintiff performed to the expectations of defendant Combs, was personally thanked for her obedience by defendant Combs, and was subsequently invited for future employment at the white parties. Now, plaintiff was paid in cash at the end of the night, typically between 4 to 6 a.m. once the party had concluded. A plaintiff was paid by defendant Thomas, who was given the money by defendant Combs. Okay, so again, this lady's distributing the money allegedly, just as Christina Coram was accused of doing the same thing. All very interesting. Okay, let me skip down a little bit. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so goes on to say, hold on just a moment. Okay, so goes on to say, plaintiff was always provided wardrobe by defendants Thomas and Combs, and was also provided a break room while attending the white parties. Defendant Thomas and Combs groomed plaintiff into trafficking over time. Okay, around the third white party, defendants Thomas and Combs demanded plaintiff began engaging in VJ sexual intercourse, okay, with guests, as they had learned about her past in adult entertainment and used it forcefully to coerce plaintiff into S work. Isn't that something? Out here pimping and pandering. Please pay attention. Allegedly, of course. So they used that against her to make her be a S worker for the benefit of defendant Thomas and Combs and their beneficiaries. Now, during the white party, plaintiff was provided a black dress to wear by defendants Thomas and Combs, who previously plaintiff was provided white clothing like other guests in the theme of the party. Now, upon information and belief, plaintiff believed she was required to wear a black dress to the white party to denote her capacity there as an employee, but more sinisterly as a trafficked worker. All right, now let's think back to when Rodney Jones was told to wear those baseball caps that had bad boy on it when he went into the clubs in Florida to acquire women to come back for the freak offs. Okay, please pay attention. A lot of these are the same things being accused again by different people. Now, upon information and belief, plaintiff believes she was required to wear the black dress to show that she was an trafficked worker. One beneficiary is defendant Jacob, who plaintiff was demanded by defendant Combs to engage in sexual intercourse during a white party. Now, plaintiff, fearing not only for her safety, but her and her then boyfriend's job security, did as instructed and went with defendant Jacob, where she engaged in forced sexual intercourse with defendant Jacob at the demand and behest of defendant Combs. Plaintiff knew, she knew refusing could get her fired. This is all so sad at the end of the day. Please pay attention. She knew refusing defendant Combs' demands was not an option, and to do so would be at her and Mr. Gallo's detriment. And now when she says detriment, I think she's talking about even more than just simply being fired. Okay? There may have been threats and coercion, intimidation, as has been alleged by other people who have exposed, Diddy and accused him of certain things. So, likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. So, plaintiff was coerced by defendant Combs into consuming copious amounts of allegedly laced alcohol prior to being coerced and forced into having sexual intercourse with defendant Jacob. Plaintiff is pictured with defendant Jacob after the assault, as plaintiff was still in her role as an employee of the white party. Okay, I'm going to scroll past some of this. Plaintiff received an additional $1,000 in cash on top of what she had received as payment at the prior two white parties from defendant Thomas at the end of the night. At the end of the night, defendant Combs personally congratulated plaintiff for following his directives with defendant Jacob and for a job well done. Isn't that something? I mean, the nerve of him. The absolute nerve of him, not for a job well done after you basically coerced this woman allegedly to do things that she clearly didn't want to do. So plaintiff has personally witnessed defendant Combs, Thomas, and Jacob solicit and ingest narcotics and engage in illicit acts. Plaintiff was also employed at the white parties that commenced at defendant Combs' Miami Star Island residence. Okay, so clearly, if she's been told to do this in one state, which is New York, and then taken elsewhere and told to do these things, that absolutely is as trafficking. And remember, the same things have been alleged. People being taken across state lines and all of that in other lawsuits with the same sort of allegations. Please pay attention. Now, goes on to say, plaintiff was also employed at the white parties that commenced, at the Star Island residence. Now, during these white party employments, plaintiff's travel was arranged by defendant Thomas upon arrival at Florida's Fort Lauderdale Airport. A car service owned and operated by either defendant Combs, BBE, SJC, CGE, or organizational DOEs would retrieve plaintiff, defendant Thomas, and the other individuals from the airport and transport them to defendant Combs' residence on Star Island. So it was all going down at Star Island, honey. This is all so crazy. Now, defendant Thomas was to defendant Combs as Ghislaine Maxwell was to Jeffrey Epstein. Without defendant Thomas, a woman using her inherent goodwill as a woman to gain the trust of another woman, coordinating and acting as an avatar for defendant Combs would be unable to execute his corrupt trafficking organization. Plaintiff is unable to recall details from the Miami white parties due to the increased demand that plaintiff engaged in illicit narcotics and alcohol use while employed for defendant Combs. Okay, probably high and drunk out of her mind. Okay, can't even remember everything that transpired, allegedly. Now, defendants Thomas and Combs passed off plaintiff. They passed off plaintiff to other defendants outside of defendant Jacob's named defendant Jacob named as defendant Doe's. So she had to do this more than one time. This wasn't just a one-time thing that he got her to do with Jacob, the jeweler, allegedly. She had to do this with other people, passing her off to his guests. Now, mind you, this is also what has been alleged that he did to Cassie, his own girlfriend at the time. So Diddy's just sick. If all these things are true, he's absolutely sick and disgusting. But let me continue. She was to be sexually assaulted as part of their ongoing corrupt trafficking organization. Upon information and belief, plaintiff believes defendant Combs had hidden cameras in every room of his home in the Hamptons, New York, and Star Island, Miami, Florida. Okay. Upon information and belief, defendant Doe's, who were individuals, defendants Thomas and Combs passed off plaintiff to be assaulted, were filmed by defendant Combs' security cameras assaulting plaintiff while plaintiff is unconscious. Wow, this is also darn nefarious. Okay, while the plaintiff was unconscious during the white parties in both New York and Florida. Just clearly taking advantage. Upon information and belief, these individuals and plaintiff were recorded without their knowledge and consent. Upon information and belief, this treasure trove of evidence in defendant Combs' possession either still is in the defendant's possession or in the possession of the FBI. As the FBI executed a warrant and raided defendant Combs' residences in April of 2024. So the FBI has the videotapes likely. Please pay attention. The FBI likely has these videotapes. This is all crazy. Diddy is a low down dirty dog, honey, if all this stuff is true, and I absolutely believe that it is. Every last bit of it. Please pay attention. Let me get me a sip, honey. Oh, my Lord, this is a lot. This is absolutely a lot. Whew, not a treasure trove of evidence. Now just think back, because she was working for him allegedly between 2004 to 2009, and he was recording all the way back then and then up till now with the stuff that Rodney Jones alleges has been recorded. Yeah, he definitely has a treasure trove if all this is true. And so defendant Combs is very forceful, demanding, and does not take no for an answer, and would often threaten to inflict bodily harm and or terminate plaintiff or her then boyfriend, Mr. Gallo's, employment and blackball them in the industry. How many times have we heard this about Diddy? Threatening to blackball people if they didn't cooperate. To blackball them from the industry if plaintiff did not comply with his demands, as defendant Combs acted and was viewed in such a way to where Mr. Gallo and plaintiff believed he had the power, where defendant Combs' threats were credible. And here, let me just tell you all this. I absolutely believe that Diddy did a lot of these things to Adria English because he was angry because her boyfriend, Anthony Gallo, dared to reject him, dared to turn him down, didn't want to do it. And I think that's part of the reason why Diddy did this to her, like for his way of getting revenge. Okay, like just being low down and nefarious and just making, oh, so you don't want to do what I asked you to do? Yeah, well, here's what I'm going to do to your woman. That's what I absolutely think. Because all of this stuff, making her take copious amounts of illegal substances and, laced drinks and all of this stuff to the point that she's passed out, and then having people doing things to her and it's all being filmed. This is all just some sick behavior. And it just makes me think that Diddy absolutely was not just trying to profit off of her or at her expense, but also trying to get payback. Okay, low down, dirty self. But let me continue. Now, as defendant Combs acted and was viewed in such a way to where Mr. Gallo and plaintiff believed he had the power, where defendant Combs, his threats were credible. So they absolutely believed that he would follow through on threats. And that means that he was using threats of intimidation and all of that, allegedly. Now, defendant Combs used his power and influence to threaten and intimidate plaintiff to participate or to continue participating in defendant Combs' corrupt and drug trafficking organization. Defendant Combs, in an effort to continue to silence plaintiff and keep her in his trafficking organization, offered to help plaintiff enter into the music business as a part of an all-female music group. So basically a bribe. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. This is all crazy. Now, plaintiff knew of defendant's Combs' prowess in the music industry and knew that he had the power to help her advance her music career. Plaintiff believed defendant Combs would fulfill his promises to help her career just as he had helped plaintiff's then boyfriend's modeling career. Plaintiff, having been professionally exposed to the music industry or the music industry side of defendant Combs' empire, grew more aware of the true nature of her employment at white parties was that it was grotesque, inexcusable, exploitive, and criminal. Plaintiff's only way to escape defendant Combs, was to return to California, which plaintiff did in 2009. This is all sad at the end of the day. This is a damn shame. Diddy ain't ish, okay? Now, plaintiff knew defendant Combs. Okay, let me skip past that. Plaintiff having been professionally exposed to the music side. Okay, I read that already. I'm sorry. Hold on. Now, upon information and belief, in retaliation for plaintiff's escape, defendant Combs had plaintiff's then boyfriend, Mr. Gallo, blackballed from the modeling industry and had all of Mr. Gallo's campaigns with Sean John removed. This is how he plays dirty. Okay, upon information and belief, in retaliation for plaintiff's escape, defendant Combs had plaintiff blackballed from the entertainment industry. Okay, so now we get into defendant Combs' corrupt and drug trafficking organization has caused plaintiff lifelong harm. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Diddy out here getting people blackballed, allegedly kicked out of the industry if they don't do what he says, when he says, and how he wants it done. Just disgusting. Plaintiff became severely depressed and began to blame herself for being trafficked and for sabotaging her own career. Being trafficked and abused has led plaintiff into a tailspin of anxiety and depression. In or about 2010, plaintiff was hospitalized for mental illness as a direct cause of her being trafficked by defendants. Now, everywhere plaintiff looked, she was reminded of being trafficked by defendant Combs, as he is an inescapable presence in music, television, and film. Now, this has also been said by other plaintiffs. They said the exact same thing. Now, in the ensuing years, plaintiff has also experienced alcohol and drug addiction as she attempted to cope with the emotional trauma of being assaulted and trafficked. Plaintiff has also experienced intimacy issues, and that other women have said the same thing. Please pay attention. Okay, some of the last ones to file have said the same thing. Intimacy issues as she struggles to maintain emotional and sexual relationships with men. Plaintiff was recently married, however, fears her marriage may fall apart due to her mental breakdowns precipitated by memories of the assault and trafficking. Just out here allegedly ruining people's lives. I want you all to pay attention. How dare anybody say that we should not be going in on Diddy because he's a black man? When all of these people, most of these people that he did these heinous, nefarious, egregious things to, depraved acts, sickening things that leave people traumatized for years after. Okay, these people look like him. So they make no sense when they say that, oh, we shouldn't be going in on him. We absolutely should. This is all so crazy. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me continue. Defendant Combs has altered the trajectory of plaintiff's career, denying her a successful and lucrative career in the music industry. Same thing he did to Cassie. To this day, plaintiff experiences bouts of depression, anxiety, body image issues, feelings of worthlessness, and intimacy issues because of being trafficked by defendant Combs. Plaintiff is a woman of faith, and when she saw news coverage of the countless lawsuits initiated by brave other individuals against defendant Combs, she knew she had a moral obligation to speak up. Plaintiff feared further violence and or retaliation from defendant Combs in filing this lawsuit, but ultimately decided that it was imperative for her to speak her truth with the hopes that no other individual would have to endure the egregious and heinous treatment that she has. Plaintiff seeks justice for herself and for any other Combs victims. Wow. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Okay, so now Speaking of the Trafficking and Victims Protection Act, according to plaintiff, she was transported from New York to Florida throughout by defendant Combs for the purpose of engaging in sexual activities. Plaintiff asserts that during this time, plaintiff was forced to engage in S work and perform S acts to the pleasure of and the behest of defendant Combs. Between 2006 and 2009, defendant Combs forced plaintiff to engage in prostitution and S work at his homes in Hampton, New York, and Miami, Florida. Plaintiff asserts that defendants Vibe and PMC were involved in defendant Combs' organized S trafficking enterprise. And I want you to pay attention because she keeps referring to in this complaint as an enterprise. The same thing that Rodney Jones was calling it. And that's why he's going to be hit with these RICO charges. So plaintiff asserts that defendants Vibe and PMC, in their involvement in the enterprise included providing defendant Combs resources like intentionally and falsely marketing and promoting defendant Combs' white parties in its publication as a high-profile networking and social event in an effort to disguise and deceive the real intent of the event, which was to further defendant Combs and his various businesses, including BBE, SJC, CGE, and Vibe and PMC's profits. So in furtherance of defendants' illegal enterprise, defendants Vibe and PMC ensured defendant Combs and his businesses, BBC, SJC, and CGE, appeared overwhelming in its magazine, be on its cover or pages inside defendant's magazine, featuring pages dedicated to defendant Combs personally or his business. And all of this time, you know, so many people had all this respect for Diddy and thought he was such a mogul and all of this. I find it also nefarious. Plaintiff believes defendants Vibe and PMC engaged as defendant Combs' illegal or in defendant Combs' illegal enterprise to increase the visibility and profitability of its publication. Vibe magazine, through the magazine's constant affiliation and relationship with defendant Combs. Okay, plaintiff seeks justice against all defendants for S trafficking. This is also egregious. Okay, so goes on to say, plaintiff did, this is claims related to plaintiff's picture and likeness. Okay, so on or around Labor Day of 2004, plaintiff's picture was taken while in her employment capacity at defendant Combs' white party in Hampton, New York. Plaintiff did not know what her picture was being taken for or would be used for, nor was plaintiff's consent sought or given. Plaintiff was has never entered into any agreement with any defendant to license her likeness, nor was it a term of her employment for the white party. Now, defendants Vibe and PMC intentionally mislabeled plaintiff as a guest at the white party in its magazine to further conceal the intentions of the event and plaintiff's employment role as at the event in an effort to further the goals of the defendant's illegal and criminal enterprise. Defendant Vibe and PMC exploited plaintiff's likeness in their November 2006 magazine, where defendant Combs was the cover, and the story was about defendant's white parties, which by this point were a cultural phenomenon. Plaintiff's unauthorized, non-consensual, and intriguing use of her picture and likeness appeared on page 140 of the magazine. They have a picture of Diddy on the cover. Just all a hot mess. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll past some of this. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so at no point did plaintiff authorize, consent to, or otherwise seek to allow the defendant or any of them to exploit her picture, image, or likeness as seen in the infringing use in any manner. Plaintiff is informed and believes and thereon alleges that defendants and each of them engaged in the unauthorized exploitation and misappropriation of plaintiff's photograph, image, picture, and likeness by prominently featuring plaintiff in an advertisement and marketing materials for defendant Combs, BBE, SJC, and CGE on various online platforms and physical materials, including but not limited to the infringing use. Now, plaintiff informed and believes and thereon alleges that defendants and each of them engaged in the unauthorized exploitation and misappropriation of plaintiff's photograph, image, picture, and likeness in an effort to further and continue their corrupt and drug trafficking organization through their general business partnerships and financial support of defendant Combs, defendants Vibe, and PMC. They aided and abetted defendant Combs' actions as herein. Now, defendant's publication and distribution of the infringement use has resulted in substantial injury to the plaintiff. Okay, so now we get into the first cause of action. All right. So everyone, please like and share. Please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Okay, so hold on, beloveds. Okay, so while employed by defendant Combs at the white parties, plaintiff witnessed defendant Combs instruct direct defendant Thomas and other employees to acquire and transport the illicit narcotics. Defendant personally witnessed defendants Thomas transport illicit narcotics to and from the white parties in New York and Florida. Sounds like what Rodney Jones alleged that Brendan Paul was doing, and also at one point said that Young Miami also did. Okay, please pay attention. Now, it goes on to say, witnessed them transport narcotics to and from the white parties in New York and Florida. Plaintiff personally witnessed defendant Combs ingest and distribute the illicit narcotics once he received them. Plaintiff personally witnessed and was directed by defendant Combs to engage in escort while employed as an entertainer at the white parties. Plaintiff was required to engage in S-acts with attendees at the white parties when instructed by Mr. Combs or Thomas. Plaintiff would be paid in cash for complying with the demands for the S-work, and there was no negotiation between plaintiff and either defendant Combs, Thomas, or the party receiving services regarding a price to be paid for plaintiff complying with the S-work demands. Now, the RICO enterprise activities affected interstate commerce is comprised of an association of persons, including each defendant and other unnamed co-conspirators herein. That association was structured by various agreements, deals, contracts, and non-contractual relationships between the defendants, by which defendants assumed different roles in knowingly and directly or indirectly participating in the acts necessary to carry out the directives of the enterprise, which was to acquire and distribute narcotics, prostitutes, and S-workers. Defendants also worked collectively to deceptively obtain the labor of models and entertainers such as plaintiff and Mr. Gallo to utilize their talents and labor to produce tangible goods and services without full compensation, as detailed herein. Ooh, this is a whole lot. Plaintiff worked for defendant Combs for several years. Okay, so let me scroll down a little bit. Let me see here. The true nature of defendant's enterprise was left undisclosed was omitted and or was affirmatively misrepresented, all to fraudulently increase defendants' profits, at least some of which were used to expand the enterprise, causing further injury to plaintiff and possibly others. Upon information and belief, defendants profited from the enterprise and plaintiffs suffered because the enterprise diminished. This is also agreed to. So I just want you all to pay attention. Hold on. Okay, upon information and belief, defendants profited from the enterprise and plaintiffs suffered because the enterprise diminished plaintiffs' finances for non-payment of services rendered and diminished plaintiffs' health through consistent drugging and forced sexual encounters as a trafficking victim. Defendants used the proceeds from the enterprise to advance the enterprise by funding and operating their marketing machine, including through the use of mail, magazine coverage, word of mouth, and interstate wires to sell the illusion that defendant Combs was a serious and legitimate businessman who held exclusive networking events that would allow entertainers the opportunity to maximize their skills in the entertainment industry. When nothing could be further from the truth. This is all crazy. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, they have more pictures. Scroll past all that. So, upon information and belief, defendants each had the specific intent to participate in the overall RICO enterprise and scheme to defraud plaintiff, and each participated in the enterprise as follows. Upon information and belief, defendants Combs, BBE, SJC, CGE, Vibe, and PMC control and participate in the activities of the enterprise in a variety of ways as set forth herein, including but not limited to developing marketing campaigns to legitimize the white parties as a way to integrate hip-hop into the echelons of the mega rich to find an intersection of both worlds for the sake of unity. And so upon information and belief, throughout the relevant period, defendant Vibe and PMC entered into a partnership agreement with defendant Combs, BBE, SJC, and CGE. As general business partners, each member is responsible for the parties, for the actions in the partnership. Defendant Vibe and PMC have an ethical obligation to ensure their business partners, defendant Combs, BBE, SJE, SJC, or CGE, were not using the partnership to engage in illegal activity. Defendants Vibe and PMC provided services in their general business partners, to their general business partners, defendant Combs, BBE, and CGE. Okay, let me scroll past some of this. This is a whole lot, you guys. This is 114 pages. And like I said, I'm not going to go through all of it because we'd be here all day. Please pay attention. Okay, so defendants authorized the resources to their general business partner, defendant Combs, in furtherance of the goals of their conspiracy. Defendants Vibe and PMC and the white parties, they used the white parties as a ruse to provide defendants Combs, BBE, SJC, CGE, provide them basically a cover to disguise their covert trafficking enterprise. Okay, so let me just tell you something. If they were doing all of this and trying to disguise, I want you all to pay attention because this is important. If they were doing all of this, as she alleges, to cover up what was really going on, this is not only a case of trafficking, but money laundering. Okay, they were trying to clean the money by acting as though these were legit businesses that were going on and nothing illicit or illegal was happening. Okay, so that's money laundering, people, and that's likely why the FBI or the Feds, Homeland Security Investigations, supposedly, when they broadened their investigation to included money laundering. Okay, and so please pay attention because that's absolutely what this is. Now goes on to say defendants Combs, BBE, and SJC, CGE used the resources their general business partners provided to solicit entertainers. Now, as detailed throughout, they relied on the mail, email, and World Wide Web to disseminate the misleading information described herein and profit from the free labor of their entertainers. Basically, using people as slaves is what she's alleging. Okay, please pay attention. Now, in addition to the forced free labor, they used their power and influence to force these entertainers to engage in S work and to engage in unwanted sexual encounters with friends and associates of the RICO enterprise. And I want you all to pay attention to something. You see, this is what really gets on my nerves too. Like I said prior, when people are sitting up here trying to say, oh, y'all trying to bring down another black man. All of these things that are being alleged, if true, prove that Diddy is no better than a slave owner. He's no better than someone who owned a plantation. Because the same types of things that these people are accusing him of are the exact same types of things that were going on during slavery. And mind you, like my friend Sophia Stewart says, slavery was nothing more than human trafficking. It's the exact same thing. Okay, so how is Diddy one of us? He's not like us. Please pay attention. All right, we don't have to claim him because he's drenched in melanin. Now, with that all being said, let me continue. This is also crazy. Now, so defendants also use their power and influence to force entertainers to purchase, transport, and distribute illegal narcotics. Now, that's important too, because I want you to pay attention. What did Jonathan Oddie say? Jonathan Oddie said Diddy was trying to use the hip-hop industry to have people binge drinking alcohol and as a way to traffic drugs. Do you all remember that? So all this stuff is adding up as far as I'm concerned. So goes on to say, as the general business partner of defendants Combs, BBE, SJC, and CGE, defendants Vibe and PMC are equally liable, okay, for the commission of these acts. Absolutely. Absolutely, that seems to be the case. Now, during the 10 years preceding the filing of this action and to the present, all defendants did cooperate jointly and severally in the commission of predicate acts itemized, then they list the statutes as described in this complaint. Beginning at an exact date unknown to plaintiff, but within 10 years preceding the filing of this action, defendants have knowingly, willfully, and unlawfully participated in a pattern of racketeering activity that continues possibly till this day. Same thing Rodney Jones alleged. The racketeering acts followed the same pattern and purpose to defraud the plaintiff for the defendant's benefit. Each racketeering act involved the same or similar methods of commission and participants. Defendants' business would not have succeeded without the repeated predicate acts and the ability to conduct their fraud using mail, telecommunications wires, interstate travel, and possibly money laundering. Okay? Money laundering. Pay attention. Which is not far-fetched. All right? Which is not far-fetched, considering the defendant. This is all so low down, honey, including the fairies. Diddy was out here doing the absolute most, honey. Pimping and pandering, to say the least of it. Okay? Pimping and pandering. Please pay attention. So, with that all being said, they say which was not far-fetched, considering defendant Jacob was sentenced to 30 months for activities related to money laundering. Now, who knew that? Did you all know that, in fact, Jacob the jeweler had been sentenced for money laundering and required to forfeit over $2 million in civil penalties and fees? All right. Now, Jacob was sentenced to 30 months for activities related to money laundering. All right, so this is all adding up. Like I said, Diddy can sit down somewhere at this point. The racketeering acts all relate to each other in that they were part of concerted actions by defendants to use the endorsement and channels of the enterprise to operate their businesses to solicit potential victims and detailed herein. The separate racketeering acts all relate to each other in that they were part of the concerted actions of defendants to use the endorsement and channels of the enterprise to operate their businesses to fraudulently induce plaintiff and others like plaintiff to utilize their talents and labor to provide services without full compensation. So again, someone saying they didn't even get paid for what they were doing. Same thing Rodney Jones alleged. Okay, so in addition to the forced labor, defendants used their power and influence to force plaintiff to engage in S work and to engage in unwanted sexual encounters with others when directed. Defendants, especially defendant Combs, used his power and influence to force plaintiff to engage in S work, but also distribute and consume illegal narcotics. Defendant's wrongful conduct has injured plaintiff, remaining part of defendant's ongoing business practices, and continues to threaten plaintiff and the public. Defendant's association with the enterprise enabled defendants to conduct, direct, and control a pattern of fraudulent illegal activities over a substantial number of years, which continues till this day. All right, to further their collective goals, defendants worked in concert to engage in various forms of criminal activity, including forcing individuals into S work by forcing them to solicit and engage in sexual encounters with others and to consume and distribute illegal narcotics at the direction and demand of defendant Combs. Ooh, honey, Diddy, what do you have to say for yourself? At this point, what could he say? This is also egregious. Now, by way of example, between 2004 to 2009, plaintiff was forced by defendant Combs and Thomas to transport herself to Mr. Combs' home located in Miami, Florida. Plaintiff, upon information and belief, believes there may be videos showing her being assaulted while unconscious during the white parties at defendant Combs' Florida residence. From at least 2004 through 2009, in the states of New York and Florida, and possibly elsewhere, defendant Combs and others, known and unknown, in inflicting interstate commerce, knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed to recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, and maintain. Hold on, beloveds. I'm sorry. I accidentally skipped past that. Let me go back a little bit. Hold on. Okay, to provide and maintain a plaintiff to continuously engage in these S acts. Okay, so this is also egregious, like I said. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me scroll down some. Okay, so in or about, hold on, let me scroll it back a little bit. I'm going to skip that. Okay, so it goes on to say, where did I leave off? Okay, by way of example, in the summer of 2007, plaintiff was forced to engage in S work at the white party at defendant Combs' home in Hampton with defendant Jacob. The picture included in this pleading of defendant Jacob and plaintiff was taken after plaintiff was forced to engage in illegal acts with defendant Jacob at the behest and demand of defendant Combs. Defendant Combs forced plaintiff to have sex with defendant Jacob against her will. According to plaintiff, defendant Combs required SEX work and engaging in S-acts as part of the employment at the white parties, was only paid for her services at the party, but not for the S work as she was forced to engage in. I mean, the nerve of Diddy. Please pay attention. And like I said, again, I do believe that he did all of this in retaliation in an act of exacting revenge on Anthony Gallo for not giving him what he wanted. And we all know what he wanted. Please pay attention. Now, goes on to say, by way of example, between 2004 to 2009, plaintiff was forced by defendant Combs and Thomas to transport oneself, okay, to his home located, okay, we know that part of where they, okay, so from at least 2004 to 2009, in the states of New York and Florida, and possibly elsewhere, defendant Combs and others, known and unknown, and affecting interstate commerce, knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed, and all of that. Basically, a whole lot of coercion, too. It says the enterprise has engaged in such acts knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion for such means would be used to cause the person, plaintiff, to engage in commercial S-acts to which defendant Combs, Jacobs, and others, known and unknown, had the plaintiff to do. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me scroll down some. Now, as part of his grooming of plaintiff, defendant Combs threatened that if plaintiff did not continue her employment at the white parties, that defendant Combs would blackball her and her boyfriend from the industry. And at the direction of Combs and Thomas, plaintiff was forced to engage in S-acts or S work at defendant's Combs' homes in Hampton, New York, and Miami, Florida. Plaintiff had no authority to be on defendant Combs' residential premises without defendant Combs' consent. All of defendant Combs' properties are protected by 24-hour security, and all visitors must be verified before entry. Now, plaintiff communicated with defendant Combs and Thomas by telephone. Defendant Combs communicated by a California number ending in 1496. However, a search for that number leads to New York-based artist Paloma Bailey as the registered owner. Why or how the number registered to Miss Bailey is being used, by defendant Combs in another conspiracy is another conspiracy for another time. What's going on here? Y'all hear this? Said it's another conspiracy for another time. Okay, let me make a note of that in case I want to look into it. This is all egregious. All right. Okay, so then goes on to say the number plaintiff communicated with defendant Thomas is seemingly still registered to defendant Thomas. I want to know who this Tamika Thomas is and what happened between her and Diddy. Are her and Diddy still friends? Do they still have any communications? I just have a whole lot of questions. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Let me scroll down some. Okay, so from 2004 through 2009 in the states of New York and Florida, defendants Combs, Thomas, and others, known and unknown, in and affecting interstate commerce, knowingly did recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, and maintain by any means a person, plaintiff, and did benefit financially and by receiving anything of value from participating in an enterprise which has engaged in any such act, knowing and in reckless disregard for the fact that means of force, threats of force, and fraud and coercion and a combination of such means would be used to cause the person to engage in a commercial S act to which defendants Combs, Thomas, and Jacob caused plaintiff to engage in commercial SEX acts utilizing force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion, and a combination of such means. Additionally, defendants Combs received personal gratification by directing and ensuring plaintiff engage in commercial S acts with the individuals defendant Combs directed her to engage. Now, mind you, this has all been alleged about Diddy before, that it was for his own gratification, that he liked to sit back and watch it all go down and, you know, do things to himself. So this is all nothing new. This is all nothing new. Diddy is low down, honey. Absolutely is. Please pay attention. Let me scroll down some. The purpose of Combs' the purpose of Combs' enterprise. As detailed herein and according to plaintiff, the purpose of Combs' enterprise is to A, use its position, power, and influence to control entertainers and force these entertainers to purchase, transport, and or distribute illegal narcotics and engage in SEX work. So allegations of drug trafficking also, please pay attention. Promote and enhance the prestige, reputation, and position of the enterprise with respect to rival music labels, artists, and executives. C, to preserve and protect the power, territory, and criminal ventures of the enterprise through the use of intimidation, threats of violence, and coercion. D, keep victims in fear of the enterprise and its members and associates. E, enrich the members and associates of the enterprise through criminal activity, including narcotics trafficking, trafficking, and even fraud. Conceal the activities. F, conceal the activities of the enterprise from law enforcement by threatening individuals' livelihoods if they ever spoke about their experience to others, especially to law enforcement. And Diddy likely would have known that right away because, you know, they say it's been alleged that he has ties to law enforcement, or at least he did, specifically through the use and his employment of Fahim Muhammad, who was his chief of security. Okay. So let me scroll down some. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Now, upon information and belief, among the means and methods by which the defendants and their associates conducted and participated in conduct. Okay, I'm gonna skip past that. Okay, plaintiff personally witnessed members of the enterprise doing things during domestic travel. Members of the enterprise and their associates used force, coercion, threats, or a combination therein to force plaintiff to engage in S work and had S acts with white party goers at the direction of defendant Combs and or Thomas. The pattern of racketeering activity through which defendants together with others agreed to conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of affairs of the enterprise consisted of multiple offenses involving dealing in controlled substances in violation. And then they list the statutes. Parts of the conspiracy involved each defendant agreeing that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of the enterprise. Do you all hear this? I say, what now? This is all crazy. Please pay attention. So if she's saying that basically they had to convince the people who were the defendants that they basically agreed that a co-conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of the enterprise. So basically, it's like that's the way they test you out. You know, like on Training Day, how Denzel made Ethan Hawke take those illegal substances to show that he was down and to make sure he wasn't going to be able to snitch or rat the rest of them out. That's what this all sounds like. So yeah, this is what you got to do, boo. If you want to be down with us and prove that you're loyal for the cause, you got to commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity, so we know you're not no snitch. So we know you're not working with those folks. This is all nefarious. Please pay attention. This is all so crazy. I mean, I absolutely am almost appalled, were it not for that I already know how nefarious Diddy could be. Let me scroll down some. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Third cause of action. Plaintiff incorporates by references all preceding paragraphs and all realleges them as if set forth herein. Okay, as described herein. Hold on, I'm going to skip past some of this. Now, as a result of defendant Jacob's assault, plaintiff has suffered and continues to suffer harm, including physical injury, severe emotional distress, humiliation, anxiety, and other consequential damages for which she is entitled to an award of monetary damages and or other relief. The conduct of defendant Jacob's willful, wanton, and malicious. At all relevant times, defendant Jacob acted with conscious disregard for the plaintiff's rights and feelings, acted with the knowledge of or with reckless disregard for the fact that his conduct was certain to cause injury and or humiliation to plaintiff and intended to cause fear, physical injury, and or pain and suffering to plaintiff. By virtue of the foregoing, plaintiff is entitled to recover punitive damages. Whew, it's all just a hot mess. Let me scroll down some. Defendant Combs and Jacobs' actions presented a serious risk of physical injury to plaintiff's person, regardless of whether or not those acts resulted in criminal charges, prosecution, or conviction. Furthermore, defendants BBE, SJC, CGE, Vibe, and PNC enabled defendant Combs' commission of the crimes of violence motivated by gender and thus are liable under the New York Victims Gender Motivated Act. Or Motivated Protection Act. You scroll down some. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, plaintiff incorporates by reference all proceedings, paragraphs, and realleges them as if set forth there or herein. Plaintiff was trafficked to defendant Jacob at the White Party in 2007 in Hampton, New York. Defendant Combs was present along with other high-profile individuals. I would love to know who these high-profile individuals are. Okay, I hope this young lady is cooperating with the Homeland Security investigators. And I hope she's giving up names. Please pay attention. Now, it goes on to say, along with other high-profile individuals, while plaintiff was being assaulted by defendant Jacob during the party. Plaintiff was legally on the premises as an employee of defendant Combs, as well as BBE, SJC, and CGE. And here's the thing I want you all to pay attention to, because in this complaint, they keep reiterating that she was on Diddy's premises, for employment, and that, remember how she talked about how you had to go through security, they weren't just letting anybody in, basically, and you had to be checked and all of that. You couldn't come in without consent. Now, the reason her attorney would include all of this in the filing, in my opinion, would be because at the end of the day, there's photo images of her that were taken at some of these events. And she wanted to be known that, I didn't just come there as a groupie. I wasn't someone who just showed up. Okay, I was allowed to come there because at Diddy's behest. Okay, and I was approved to come in and all of this. She certainly got some photo evidence. So defendant Combs' conduct described above as willful, wanton, and malicious. At all relevant times, defendant Combs acted with conscious disregard for plaintiff's rights and feelings, acted with the knowledge of or with reckless disregard for the fact that their conduct was certain to cause injury to plaintiff and intended to cause fear, physical injury, and or pain and suffering to plaintiff. Plaintiff believes defendant Combs intended his conduct against plaintiff primarily because of her gender. By virtue of the foregoing, plaintiff is entitled to recover punitive damages. Whew. Like I said, this is a whole lot. Diddy needs to be so ashamed of himself, honey. Please pay attention. I'm going to scroll down some more. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Okay, now I'm getting close to the end. Okay. Upon information and belief, defendant's obstruction has caused plaintiff serious harm, including without limitation, physical, psychological, financial, and reputational harm. That harm was directly and proximately caused by the obstruction, and the harm resulting from obstruction was foreseeable. Defendant's obstruction has caused plaintiff harm that is sufficiently serious, and upon information and belief, this cause does not involve mere fraud. Instead, defendant's criminal conduct in obstructing enforcement of the TVPA was outrageous and intentional because it was in deliberate furtherance of a widespread and dangerous criminal trafficking organization. Defendant's obstruction also evinced a high degree of moral turpitude and demonstrated such wanton dishonesty as to imply a criminal indifference to civil obligation. Defendant's obstruction was directed specifically at plaintiff, who was the victim of defendant Combs' trafficking enterprise. Now I want you all to pay attention to that part, because that just speaks to what I said previously. When I said that it is in my opinion and belief that Diddy did all of these nefarious things to her and had things done to her allegedly, so that he could get revenge on her boyfriend for daring to, reject him. Because she says defendant's obstruction was directed specifically at plaintiff, who was the victim of defendant Combs' trafficking enterprise. With that all being said, she was basically saying it's like he singled her out. Like this was specifically happening to her. Because remember, there were other girls who were bottle girls there, or who were go-go dancers and giving lap dances allegedly. She says there were other girls. Remember, they all had to wear different color outfits so that they would be known as the employees and not members there just to enjoy the parties. Okay, in the beginning, that's what she stated. Then she says later on, it turned into her being the one who had to wear a white dress, which would set her apart from the other people who were likely there to just dance, take pictures, and serve drinks. So specifically targeting her is what she's saying. And that sounds to me like absolutely he was trying to get revenge. Just low down and nefarious. Okay, now prayers for relief. Wherefore, plaintiff prays that the court enter judgment in her favor and against defendants containing the following relief. Declaratory judgment that the actions, conduct, and practices of defendants complained of herein violate federal laws and laws of states of New York and Florida. Award plaintiff damages against defendants in an amount to be determined at trial, plus prejudgment interest to compensate plaintiff for all monetary and or economic damages, including but not limited to loss of past and future income, wages, compensation, seniority, and other benefits of employment. Award plaintiff damages against defendants in an amount to be determined at trial, plus prejudgment interest to compensate plaintiff for all non-monetary and or compensatory damages, including but not limited to compensation for her mental anguish, humiliation, embarrassment, stress and anxiety, emotional pain and suffering, and emotional distress. Award plaintiff punitive damages in an amount to be determined at trial. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. And now, mind you, this was just filed on yesterday. Okay? Award prejudgment interest on all amounts due. Award costs that plaintiff has incurred in this action, including but not limited to expert witness fees. Oh, honey, they're talking about bringing in expert witnesses. And here's the thing. I want you to pay attention because this is important. Remember that she said she had to get psychological counseling and that she was traumatized for years. Okay, this still haunted her. And so if she had to get mental health treatment and all of that, then what they will likely do, as was done in the case of Harvey Weinstein, they would likely call in psychologists, okay, as expert witnesses to attest to the fact that, in fact, she did have some sort of trauma and mental health issues after all of these things happened to her, okay? And then also to testify to the fact of why she waited so long to come out with her story. Because, see, here's the thing. This is what they will often do. The defense counsel, in cases such as these, as it's been done in the case of Harvey Weinstein, they would want to ask why the people waited so long. Why did they take these years and decades to come out? And then so that's when you would call in a psychologist to have them speak on these things and basically explain why a person would have been fearful or for whatever reason didn't come out initially. And that's what, during the Harvey Weinstein case, that's why they had Dr. Barbara Ziv. The one that I told you after she testified in court one day, she was leaving and she was plowed down in the streets and nearly killed. Okay? Nearly taken up out of here. And I'm quite frankly sure, in my opinion, that Harvey Weinstein's the one who was behind that, because it's clearly not a coincidence. It's clearly not a coincidence. And let's not forget the independent or investigative journalist who claims that someone threatened him allegedly at the behest of Harvey Weinstein. So that all being said, this is why they would have, in case you were wondering, this is why they would have expert witnesses come in. And so basically asking for fees for that, in case they do, as well as plaintiff's reasonable attorney's fees and costs to the fullest extent permitted by law, and such other and further belief as the court may deem just and proper. Ooh, honey, this is all nefarious. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Now, okay, this is pretty much the end of it right here. Okay, and this is dated July 3rd of 2024. Like I said, it was filed on yesterday by the law office of Ariel E. Mitchell, PA. Okay. And this is an attorney from Miami, Florida. Yeah, this Ariel E. Mitchell Kidd Esquire is the one that signed off on this. Respectfully submitted. Okay. Ooh, honey. This is all crazy. Whew, that was a lot, beloveds. Like I said, Diddy needs to be thoroughly ashamed of himself. He needs to be thoroughly ashamed of himself. Okay, at the end of the day, someone was trolling. I don't know why they're trolling, honey. Are they mad because Diddy's cooked? Okay. TVI said he's cooked. This is all crazy. At the end of the day. Okay, so Anita said you gotta tell Diddy no. Absolutely. But look what happens when you tell him no. In her case, or in her boyfriend's case, clearly. Yeah, this is definitely egregious as far as I'm concerned. So with that all been said, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Thank you in advance. Great. Jay Gray says Diddy needs hands put on him. Okay. Bubba the drum said, I got him, Queen. Thank you, beloved. You know the trolls be in here. Thank you. Okay, Leon Gardner says he doesn't have any shame. None whatsoever. Apparently, if all the allegations are true, and I absolutely believe they are. I absolutely believe they are. This is all so sad and egregious, okay? We the people said R. Kelly need a doctor and Diddy needs to be locked up. Exactly. He definitely does. And I said that before. R. Kelly needs to have some type of psychiatric or mental health counseling because he was himself victimized as a child at the age of 6 by his own sister. So I could see how that could cause someone to engage in depraved acts, hurt people. Sometimes victims become the abusers. And so, and especially when this happens to them at a young age. For those of you who follow the spiritual channel, we've talked about that. How things that happen that cause childhood trauma makes people become adults who still suffer trauma, and then they base their decisions and actions very often off of said trauma. Okay, so please pay attention. Above all that, drama said this is just foul and nasty. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. With that all being said, I'm up out of here, honey. I hope you all enjoyed the show. All right, I hope you all enjoyed the show. The Queen putting in work on the 4th of July. Please pay attention. I know some of y'all getting ready for barbecues and all that, so I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Right, enjoy your strong end, not the weekends, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. And listen, I don't think I'll be live tomorrow, beloveds, unless and only if there's some more breaking news. Aside from all that, you'll likely see me sometime Saturday. Okay, so Juju said a whole mess. Okay, y'all see said R. Kelly's issues are mild compared to Diddy's. Diddy should have been locked up. Yes, he should have been locked up a long time ago. And please pay attention and stay tuned, because I still have more nefarious information on Diddy. Okay? I have more information on him that I will be divulging at some point this weekend or this strong end. Okay? Above all that, drama said, yes, Lord. I really enjoy the broadcast, Queen. Love you to life. Thank you, beloved. I love you right back. Havana says R. Kelly doesn't deserve empathy. I believe you meant to say he had the financial resources to get professional help and chose not to seek out a psychiatrist. Well, here's the thing, beloved. I'm not going to cake for him. I'm not going to make excuses, but in reality, many people who have trauma, especially people of my skin tone who have trauma or who have mental health issues, sometimes don't even know it. They don't even realize. They think they're perfectly fine or normal. And then in some cases, when they do realize it, they don't get the treatment because it's frowned upon in our community. And if you remember, that's why a couple of years ago, I made it a point to discuss mental health in the Black community. And I even had 2 guests on here who get therapy. Okay, one of them was my moderator, Desmond, and his twin brother. And they talked about, how it's impacted them and helped them by having therapy. So that's something that, is often frowned upon in our community, unfortunately. It's like a stigma. Okay, so that all being said, nonetheless, R. Kelly may be nefarious, but I don't think he's as equally as nefarious as Diddy. All right? And let's not forget, in the case of R. Kelly, some of those parents of said victims should absolutely be sitting in prison right beside him, as far as I'm concerned, because they know darn well some of them sold out their children for fame and fortune. And when it didn't go the way they had hoped and expected, that's when they came out with allegations. Not saying the allegations weren't true. I absolutely believe they were and are. But my thing is, parents were complicit. This is what you do to your children. You should be in jail, okay? Because in my opinion, that's child, I'm not going to say it, but y'all know what I'm trying to say, okay? That's a form of trafficking is what I'll say. What those parents were doing, in my opinion. Leon says no comparison. Thank you, beloved. I absolutely agree. All right, Durana says exactly, Queen, okay? Thank you. Okay, Queen Sam said, Queen says, please pay attention to what the Queen is telling us. Okay, thank you, beloved. All right, so that all been said, listen, I love you all to life. Havana said, I've been said the parents need to be held accountable too. Yes, thank you, beloved. Okay, hey, Mr. Mystical Black Rams, where you been hiding at? All right, it says, is the best. Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur every day, all day, twice on Sunday. Thank you, beloved. All right, Juju said, love you to life, Queen. I love you right, Black. All right, so that all been said, I hope you all enjoy your strong end after weekend, leaving you in a weekend state of mind, and have yourselves a great 4th of July, because I know some of y'all is going to be out here celebrating cookouts and lighting up fireworks and all that, okay? Don't even try it. We just had Juneteenth, but still, y'all know how you get down. Now, with that all being said, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
With that flavor all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest honest right now.
That's
See
right.
a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy.
Real slick.
I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me?